So here we are again. Three little recipes for you today. Now, before you all start screaming about potatoes and carbs, I'm just going to cook these dishes because this is what I would cook for my family. And if you're low carbing, then you just simply take the amount that you want in relation to the carbs you're going to eat in the day. So it's not a no carb diet, it's a low carb diet. And what I'm going to do today is 2 potato dishes, a chicken casserole, and by request from my children, a fried chicken dish. Now, this is a Caribbean recipe, and I'll talk you through this first because it's marinating. And if you have a look in here, they're the ingredients. Sorry, that's the marinade, and the ingredients are right here in front of me. Caribbean recipe, soy sauce. Now, people ask me, what products do I use, what brands do I use? This is Pearl River Bridge, and you get this in any good Chinese supermarket, and it's superior light soy sauce. So this is the light version, which adds saltiness to the dish. A lime. Now I've only got 4 pieces here because I'm cooking for the children, and they'll probably eat, but that'll probably take them 2 days to eat. So you can just add the recipes, add the volume to whatever you want. Now, people always say how much. Now it's difficult. You see, I don't cook by so much standard and specific recipes. I just cook the way it was taught to me, and that was by basically feel. Now, if you have a look in there, all I've done is I've splashed the soy sauce over, squeezed 1 lime in there, just to make a, like a little marinade there, and exceptional ingredient, which you must learn all about, Bacardi Rum. So you can't do it without this. This is the key ingredient to that dish. Gives it a lovely little subtle flavour. Now, if you want to spice it up, remember this is for the kids, so I don't put chilli in it, but you can add chilli powder. And the other important thing to do with fried chicken is to season the flour. Now again, look, flour's carbohydrates, you're going to jump up and down. That's the amount I've got. I've simply just put some flour and some all-purpose seasoning salt, which is this stuff here. You can buy this anywhere. Now, Simply Organic is just something I found by chance one day, and I've stuck with it because it's nice. So I've sprinkled that in the flour, a little bit of black pepper. And you season the flour, traditionally in Caribbean recipes, especially when it comes to frying things. You season the flour and you season the meat. Now this is a wet rub, what you would call, or a wet marinade. There's no dry ingredients in here. And this is, the dry ingredients have gone into the flour. Now this really needs to be marinated overnight, and the same with the flour. You can put it into a bag and leave it. And all we're going to do then is coat it and fry it. The carb content of flour, yeah, it's high, but the amount we're going to use is negligible. And again, if you look at the chicken, we're going to coat it lightly in flour, dust it off and then fry it. That just give it a nice crisp coating. And again, if you add it into your carbohydrate content for the day, it's negligible. So don't be frightened of fried chicken. Here's what I've done. I've taken, there's just 4 pieces here I'm going to start frying with because I've marinated. I've got some others that I've kept overnight. Now, that's the same chicken thighs that went into the casserole, but obviously the bone and the skin are intact. So I've poured the marinade away. And what I want to do now is take a piece of chicken, coat it in the flour. I'm going to dedicate this recipe actually to an American friend of mine, a guy who works with me called James Grimes, who, in his finest Texas accent, or Alabama, he's from Alabama actually, sorry James, is frankly, you and I are going to have some issues if I don't fry this chicken properly. And he always tells me, because what I used to do is I'd coat it in the flour, dust it off a bit. So look, the carb content is diminishing as we speak, into the oil, just about sizzling. So I'll put another one in there. He always says I have the oil temperature too hot, which is why I don't cook it properly and have to finish it in the oven. So I'm going to actually do it his way today. And the temperature's going to drop when I put all 4 pieces in. So you can see what I'm doing here. 2. And they're quite big thighs. And remember, I've seasoned the flour as well. And Mr. Grimes advocates putting it into a plastic bag, shaking it, and doing all kinds of strange things whilst drinking about, as he calls it, a tina of Lone Star, which I believe is about 18 or 12, well, I think it's 18 bottles of Lone Star beer. So if you're watching this, Mr. Grimes, which you'll have to because you work with me, I'll force you to watch it. I hope this is up to your standards.
So that's just flour?
Just flour. Well look, we're just coating.
Or did you put that
I did put some seasoning in the flour, seasoned salt and some black pepper. And what I'm going to do now, that oil will come back up to temperature, because I've just dropped it because of the cold chicken's gone in there. But what I want to do is cook this a little bit slower and cook it completely on top and not have to put it in the oven. Because he says that if you can cook real fried chicken, you should never have to put it in the oven, and he's probably right. But that's, to me, is cooking nicely. And I've cooked this stuff back in England. I've cooked this recipe for years, and I never knew the obsession a lot of Americans had with frying chicken and the different varieties. And I must say I've had some of the best fried chicken ever in this country. So that's probably a little cold now, but it will come back up. It will come back up to temperature, and it will cook a little quicker because we've got the skin there that's not cooking so fast. But we'll give that, say, 5-10 minutes and come back. Okay, so about 20 minutes have passed, but actually probably a bit less, 15 or so. There's the fried chicken, that's cooked. I've just checked it, tested it. So Mr. Grimes, you're absolutely correct. I did not need to put that in the oven. So yeah, getting the right oil temperature is key. We're going to let this cool a little bit now and eat it, because if you eat it now, you're not going to taste it. It's too hot. And a lot of people eat food too hot, by the way. They want food that's piping hot on their plates, but it's not the way to eat. There's actually more flavour in, as the temperature drops, you tend to taste more of the food. Now, yeah, you don't want to have it stone cold. But this is why a lot of Chinese food, in particular, is served and eaten at room temperature, especially the roasted meats, roast duck, roast goose, and the roast. Now, over to Chris and Bobby here, and they've got the fried chicken, and I'm going to give them. Let me just first of all have a look at this, okay? This is Walker's Wood, Jamaican hot pepper sauce, Scotch bonnet sauce, brilliant with fried chicken. You've got to eat it very, very sparingly if you don't like chilies, or if if you can't tolerate chilies, I should say. And I'm going to do a little plug here for my favourite Caribbean restaurant called A Taste of the Islands, which is in Dallas, actually in Plano. So if you're ever in Plano and you want to experience some real nice Caribbean food, go to Taste of the Islands. That's where I buy this stuff and all my Caribbean seasonings. So I'm going to give Chris here, who's not had this sauce before, a little touch. And I'm going to save some for Bobby because I'm out of this stuff actually. Bobby likes hot food. So, gents, on film, on camera, please taste the fried chicken and do not be compelled, okay, to say it's good if it's not. Because Mr. James Grimes will come and kill me if I've done this wrong.
It's really good.
I mean, really good. It's better than that, sure.
No, it's really, really good. It's really moist still. I thought, usually when I have fried chicken, it's cooked really well, I guess is the way to put it. And this is still, you can, like, the crust is falling off because it's so moist.
Well, can you taste the marinade?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Alright, I'm going to try the hot sauce.
Have you tried that sauce? Try it.
Not that hot.
Not that hot. So Bobby Wilson says that, so Walker's Wood, okay, make it hotter, because he says it's not hot enough. It actually is, it hasn't kicked in yet.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
So we're going to put some more in there. No, we're not, we're out of it. But there's my kids in the background going nuts. Back to Louis in the omelette, you can see that he's devouring that omelette. Completely. Right, so Louis, do you like my Spanish omelette? Yeah, he does. It's absolutely perfect, he said, roughly translated. One of the finest I've ever tasted. I'm a genius, thank you. Okay, so he's correct. So tell me about the chicken, seriously?
It's really good.
Mm-hmm.